gonna go for that impression there. I don't know if I'm knowledgeable enough. I don't have the cred.
Yeah, I'm not either.
All right.
And here we go. They both start in Link's house, and all hail Beetorp.
There it is. Well, you know what? It's an early bottle. They don't have to remember that they have a bottle later in the seed. Sometimes, you get 45, 50 minutes into a seed, and you just forget that you have to go check Sick Kid.
That's true. And Infinite Fluff heading to do the Uncle chest. chauncyjay heading to get a bomb and heading into Kakariko.
Yeah, Infinite Fluff throwing a bomb right at that guard, taking him out, getting green rupees out of the tree. So that's a bit of a disappointment.
Uncle has first sword. Who randomized this?
Who randomized this? This is unforgivable.
And 5 rupees in the chest that ordinarily has that would have the lamp if you didn't get Link's house chest.
Otherwise, I believe it just has 5 rupees. So that's pseudo vanilla.
So far, Lyra, to answer Lyra, our tracker's question, so far, Infinite Fluff has the sword from Uncle.
Getting an early 100 rupees out of the tavern, so that's going to be bomb money.
And they both have a bottle from Link's house. Infinite Fluff heading down to do escape.
Oh, so chauncyjay did get a bomb out of those bushes, so he's going to go ahead and grind for more here.
Well, I think that's usually a pretty good play.
Opting to stop at 4, but that should be enough to carry him through Kakariko and then a little bit more. He'll consider his 100 rupees for Bottle Vendor.
That'll be enough to... And we've got the Power Glove.
The Power Glove?
The Power Glove. It's so bad.
It's so bad. So 2 incredibly different routes right now, and it's yielding some very different results.
And the life lesson from the Bottle Vendor.
Oh, we have the bee attacking the ball and Chain Knight. Dispatching him rather effortlessly.
That is a strategy.
Oh my goodness! What is this seed? Oh my gosh! That's both gloves in escape, and then we have a Cane of Samaria in the Kakariko well.
That's interesting.
So we have some really, really early power going on here. Now, that's not to say that the seed won't stall out. It looks like Infinite Fluff is making his way down this way to Kakariko.
Now, the other side of that is Aghanim won, and we've got a shovel and a big heart and 5 arrows and blue mail.
Yeah, that was really interesting because as chauncyjay was picking up the shovel, Infinite Fluff was going up as if he had the shovel to go dig up the spot in the grove.
And powder.
There's a lot of items early in the going here. We have Blue Kirby.
However, Aghanim 1 is still not out of the realm of possibility.
Oh yeah, absolutely not.
Now I missed what was on the ledge in the library.
It was a 10 arrow upgrade. And here we have Fluff going into Kakariko. He's going to be chauncyjay doing a double take there on the Moon Pearl. so used to just walking up there, seeing like a red rupee, and just turning right back around, going up there, seeing Moon Pearl, saying, "Ah, no way! Hey, wait a second!"
And a vanilla Pizza Heart in the Thieves' Hideout.
Infinite Fluff opting to buy the bombs.
Infinite Fluff using the standard Link Sprite. And Chauncey's going to go up and check at least Uncle.
Yeah, we'll see how deep he goes. He will have a sword, so my guess is he will continue to go through the rest of Escape.
And very a successful chicken clip from Infinite Fluff.
Very solid chicken clip from Infinite Fluff there. All right, so chauncyjay is going to collect his sword. He's going to go get his 5 rupees out of the chest here, and yeah, we'll see if he actually decides to go through. Again, since he has a sword, it is very much in logic to do so.
Meanwhile, Infinite Fluff going to get his cane.
Right. By the time he gets out here, if he hasn't saved and quit, that means he is going to go and check out the rest of Escape. So he will be getting both of his gloves, and our runners will be about on even footing, just in a slightly different order.
Yep. There's usually it's usually pretty even for about the first 10 to 15 minutes. Generally don't see a lot of route divergence, or at the very least, if they choose different routes, they'll go back and do the other.
All right, so now that they will both have their mitts and their cane and their powder, they're still missing really any sort of, dungeon progression, at least as far as the logic is concerned. Obviously, they can go up Death Mountain and they can go into Eastern Palace. By now, you got to assume that any runner in the tournament is going to know how to do at least the Eastern Palace Dark Rooms, and maybe the the Death Mountain Dark Rooms.
That would be a safe assumption, I think.
So it'll be interesting because this is probably the first time we're going to see some route divergence in terms of, outside of the first, checking Escape, checking Kakariko. Infinite Fluff also doing a quick double take there on the Moon Pearl.
I don't think either one really believed they had the Moon Pearl right away.
Yeah, that is a very popular, never mind, I'm going to turn around spot. Infinite Fluff thinking about abandoning that piece of heart, but he ends up taking it. And here we go. They've both saved and quit, and let's see where they go. Same place.
And a pseudo-vanilla heart from Sanctuary.
Kind of vanilla.
We've got a map check. We've got Green Pendant Tower of Hera, and we've got crystals on the other 2 dungeons, but neither one of them is 5 or 6.
Wow, they're just they're screen for screen here in this early going.
And half magic.
Early half magic. We have a save and quit from Infinite Fluff. chauncyjay looks like he's gonna go Dark Room Escape.
Our tracker Lyra asks in chat if both have powder, and that is correct. They both have powder. While Chauncey's in the dark rooms, and we can't really necessarily see what he's doing. And Infinite Fluff is walking around.
We're getting a Grove check here.
Checking Grove. If you've been enjoying, if you enjoy this race, if you enjoy these runners, why don't you give them a follow?
Oh, geez. I'll tell you what, Fluff probably enjoys that hook shot.
Yes.
Now we'll see if this dark room pays off for chauncyjay. That'll be super great because both will have items that, I mean, who knows? Grove is one of those locations that once you've been over to Kakariko a couple times, it's hard to figure out when you exactly route that in.
Yeah, it's almost like catfish.
Exactly like catfish. He gets a 20 roops out of the dark room efforts, which is a shame to do that much work and then get 20 rupees out of it. And as Chauncey is starting at the sanctuary, it does not look like he's going directly to the grove.
Fluff, on the other hand, is heading up Death Mountain. Chauncey's going to head up Death Mountain as well, without the hook shot.
Hopefully Fluff finishes his Dark Death Mountain before Chauncey enters the Dark Death Mountain. Oh, no, he's not. He's going... Oh, we got juked. I was going to say thank you for our runners for not both being in dark rooms at the same time. It certainly makes for an interesting commentary experience when we're looking at blank screens.
Oh no, Chauncey's going to go and do Village of Outcasts.
Yeah, and I don't hate this move either, honestly. Since he has Titan's Mitts and Moon Pearl, this is the thing that is actually in the logic, whereas Infinite Fluff is doing a sequence.
We've got Swamp Palace and Ice Palace as pendants. 5 and 6 are Skull Woods and Thieves Town.
One of the interesting themes I like to see in these races is when people do sequence breaks like this, how often does it really pay off? Like Infinite Fluff going up here to Death Mountain, he was able to do a sequence break in order to do this, but chauncyjay going directly to the Dark World, he doesn't have to take that trek up to Death Mountain. He's going to have a higher density of chests early, get a lot more information, and we'll see if that turns into any kind of meaningful advantage.
But Chauncey gets Ether out of Skull Woods. Nothing good in Spectacle Rock. Either Spectacle Rock spot.
On or in.
And Mushroom. Those are your 2 items out of Skull Woods. And let me ask you this. Do you want to have a fetch quest? Hopefully not. Of course, we do have that shovel already, and we already see that being very, very important. What'll be really special, I think, here is if chauncyjay picks up a flute. Let's just say he picks up a flute somewhere in like the Village of Outcasts. He is not going to be seeing that shovel on his item screen. So when exactly will he think, oh, I have shovel, I need to go check the grove? Okay, Paradox Cave. Paradox Cave has the lamp. I love lamp.
That's a sequence break to get the lamp, by the way.
Well, it means that flute will be available somewhere.
Yeah, flute or the combination of mirror and hammer.
Well, no, it has to be flute. Because that's the only way you're going to get up to Death Mountain.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. That is very true.
And it's 300 rupees on Floating Island.
So flute being accessible brings up that point that I had made earlier. You know, when you get a flute, how likely are you going to, I guess if you're running with a tracker, you can look over and see you have the shovel, but you're usually not doing that until you're stuck for somewhere to go. And then again, you just have to figure out when you're actually going to route that in. It'll just be really, really interesting to see if chauncyjay has the presence of mind to say, you know what, I got the shovel early, and I haven't checked Grove yet. That's where my hook shot is.
chauncyjay heading into Thieves Town.
Yep, with the blue tunic and 6 hearts, this is definitely an achievable achievable full clear of this dungeon. Well, not full clear. They don't have the hammer.
And Infinite Fluff using a Japanese 1.0 glitch to hook shot through the blocks. Chat points out, hoping Chauncey picks up the mirror sometime soon, speculating that that's about the only way he's going to check Grove in the near future.
Right. That routes nicely in with doing the lumberjack and the purple chest, doing that whole path, walking from Village of Outcasts down to the swamp area. You get a few overworld items that are otherwise kind of tough to route in all in a row.
Meanwhile, Infinite Fluff heading over and doing Hookshot Cave. I did not notice, did he check the medallion? We've got a Master Sword in Hookshot Cave.
I don't believe he walked over and checked the medallion, but I'm sure chat will remind us if he did. So we do have a Master Sword. Fluff has a lamp.
Okay, Turtle Rock is Ether.
Turtle Rock is Ether.
Which you find in Thieves Town. Or, I'm sorry, in...
Oh my gosh, just medallions all over this.
And the Sea House had Das Buch.
Alright, so we're getting a dam drain. I don't think either runner has checked Lumberjack Cave.
I don't recall.
Right, since they went the south route up from Kakariko into the Lost Woods, neither of them went up even to that screen. So we do have a Master Sword and a lamp from Infinite Fluff, as well as a Moon Pearl. Aghanim is open to him. Now, so are a lot of other things, but that's something else we might have to watch out for. chauncyjay having Dark World access, both of the runners having Dark World access, and chauncyjay spending a bunch of time in the Dark World already, does not necessarily mean that Aghanim is not required.
Right, still need a hammer or flippers to kill the Aghanim hype.
Well, hype for some people. Alright, so we're going to see how the mini Moldorm cave pays off. Well, there you have it.
And not really anything else useful.
Blind doesn't see chauncyjay having a bright future, but I'm sure he has something to say about that. So far, a very clean Blind fight. I was getting worried that I may have jinxed it there, so I'm glad he got through that one. Getting the reward of a small shield.
Meanwhile, Infinite Fluff heading up to check Ice Rod Cave.
Yeah, with the Moon Pearl, it'll be interesting to see if Infinite Fluff goes back down this coast and does a fake flipper to go up to the Waterfall Cave. He's already done one sequence break to get the lamp.
Yeah, the sequence breaks seem to be helping here. Nope, he's just gonna save and quit.
Trust the logic a little bit, at least. Alright, looks like we're going over to Eastern from Infinite Fluff. chauncyjay doing some lawn work. getting in a number of digs before the item shows up. Wow.
And it's blue goo.
It's at least a pretty decent payoff for him there. You always hate to spend 20 digs in that digging game and then dig up like a 20 rupees or something.
And Infinite Fluff heading back to check Rufus Xavier Sarsarilla's hut and gets Bacon's sword.
Just such generosity with the swords.
Chauncey taking Froggy World Tour.
Oh boy, this is certainly something. This is exactly the route that chat was talking about, where if chauncyjay were to have the mirror, he would go ahead and check a grove right there. But since he's gone and done that, again, we gotta wonder, how long is it actually going to take until chauncyjay gets his hook shot?
And Stumpy has the cape. And chauncyjay heading over towards the Cave of Inevitable Disappointment.
We'll see if Yoda has anything for him. Yoda has 20 rupees.
Oh, some couch cash I give you. Yes.
Just a whole lot of nothing in Dagobah. Chauncey did save and quit. He goes back up to Sanctuary to deliver the blacksmith home.
Meanwhile, Infinite Fluff picks up a 5-bomb upgrade in Eastern. 3 items to be had in Eastern.
And he does have Lamp, so not that this is a particularly challenging set of dark rooms here in the Eastern Palace. But at this point, we're looking at the possibility of Bo being in the Eastern Palace. Which would be very fortuitous, because then Infinite Fluff could just run back and finish this dungeon, but he opts to save and quit.
I don't think I agree with that, especially with having the lamp. And the other sword is from Blacksmith, Vanilla Blacksmith.
We have a very generous... Is this easy mode? Did somebody accidentally generate an easy mode seed? Oh, here we go. Chauncey does look like he'll be checking out the grove now. So that's good news for him.
And that will probably send Chauncey up to Death Mountain.
That will send him up to Death Mountain. If he is willing to do that cave dark. We don't get an immediate save and quit, so it looks like he's going to drain the dam, and then we'll see how he goes after he sees that the dam really doesn't have much.
Meanwhile, Infinite Fluff picking up his Ether Medallion.
And Infinite Fluff does know that Turtle Rock is indeed the Ether lock there, so he knows he is able to get into Turtle Rock with that medallion. Whereas Chauncey just has all 3 of them, so he doesn't really care.
Yeah, that is the nice thing about picking up all 3 medallions early. Getting that idea of, I don't care what the medallions are to get into the dungeons, I have them all. Chauncey heading up to Mini Mold Worm. Infinite Fluff. Flippers on Bumper Cave.
Ooh, hello.
So Fluff is going to have to go. Fluff is going to make a check on Lumberjack.
Yeah, chauncyjay comes here, gets his mirror, so he's, you know what? All things considered, with the sequence breaks and everything, he's not really behind, in my opinion. Infinite Fluff giving us that knowledge that Lumberjack Cave is a mere 50 rupees.
And Chauncey skipping the Ice Rod Cave.
Now, Chauncey, I think he got the cape in Thieves Town. He got it from Blind. Oh, he got it from Stumpy, that's right. So Fluff may be in the near future, after he does Thieves Town, if he's doing Thieves Town, may be about to get that cape, and he'll just run up there and get those flippers.
Chauncey, meanwhile, heading into Agina's cave. Okay, Bombos out of Chest Game. And just Triple Boom out of Agina's cave. But we've got a book. He doesn't have Fire Source, though, so he can't complete Desert.
Chauncey doesn't have a Fire Source, but he looks like he's gonna go try. Oh my goodness, that's a flute. I would say it's worth dipping into Desert, just as a gamble.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I would agree. Flute in the flute on the ledge.
Just a quick gamble into the Desert Palace. I wouldn't be surprised if Chauncey just goes and gets the flute and doesn't even bother with the rest of this dungeon. He might get a peek as to what's on the torch. Oh no, he's going to go ahead and do as much as he can.
Picks up a key out of the first chest.
Man, if Fire Rod is on the right side of Desert Palace, or anywhere in Desert Palace, that's a pretty big deal. That gives Chauncey another crystal.
Unless it's on Bonk Lamp.
Unless it's on Bonk Lamp. That is true. Ooh,
it's another B. Did VTorp generate this seed? chauncyjay does a double take, considers going back for the full magic jar, but realizes he already has full magic.
He has full half magic. All right, so Chauncey is going down here to get his flippers.
His flute.
Oh, sorry, flute. Flippers are on Bumper Cave. My mistake. So there is your Death Mountain without the sequence break to go get that lamp.
In theory, flippers are not required in this seed.
Yeah, in theory. Now, even if ice was a crystal dungeon, you could fake flipper and just ignore getting the flippers out of the bouncy house. But since it's a pendant,
that's true.
That actually is a bit of a disappointment here because there's no potential for a Go Mode Swamp and a Go Mode Ice. Those dungeons being cut significantly if you know that you don't have to check all the chests.
Yes, but the other side of that being potentially you don't have to go into Ice Palace at all.
Oh, come on. Ice Palace is great.
Ice Palace is horrifying.
I love Ice Palace.
What's wrong with you?
Oh, more than is worth relating on this stream. Anyway, so we have a swag duck from Chauncey. Let's see where he flies first. He doesn't. He has all this wonderful mobility of flight, and he opts not to use it. Instead, he's going to go to the Dark World, where the duck can't even find him.
You know, Ice Palace wouldn't be so bad if it weren't for the terrible ice physics.
Alright, we have Fluff opting. Looks like he's going to opt for the Cane of Samaria strats to... Or, well, he equipped the Cane of Samaria. He's not placing any blocks. Blind can be hit by just a standing block from the Cane of Samaria. And if you want to dedicate all of your energy to just dodging the bullet hell, then you can just let the block do all of the damage.
Chauncey is heading up to get his flippers.
You know, the flippers, they're relatively fast to get here at the Bumper Cave. And, if you don't want to risk getting tagged by a Zora snipe, fake flippering. Oh! Chauncey getting harassed by some pterodactyls and taking a death here.
Now that may be intentional. That may be intentional to get back to the light world.
It could have been
and
intentional.
Get a little heal.
Yeah, because it technically does heal. Let's give him the credit. Let's say that was a death warp.
Just big 20 on the island as chauncyjay heads up to Hobo.
All right, bridge guy, what do you got for us today? Meanwhile, Batcave having a 20 rupee reward for awaking the demon. Oh!
Fire Rod!
The Fire Rod. That is certainly something.
And to answer the question in chat, yes, Lamp is on Death Mountain.
Infinite Fluff. 33 minutes, 18 seconds. The Butter Sword. Lots of damage being dealt out now. So really, as far as overworld Death Mountain locations, we have the lamp, which we know isn't needed now that he has the fire rod.
Okay, Chauncey is going to do a bottle check.
He's gonna save some money here. Ooh, gets a green potion. And he does not have the money to buy anything from the Zora, but he's going to go check the ledge. And it's just a heart, so he is going to save and quit right out of there. Infinite Fluff about to get his blue potion after his millionth dig. And finally, chauncyjay heading up to the Death Mountain, going backwards through that dark room to get the old man.
Go and get Dennis.
I don't know if he's going to go to the dentist. That doesn't seem like doesn't seem very good in his route.
Dennis. You didn't know he was called Dennis?
I thought he was called Gary.
Well, you didn't bother to find out now, did you?
Well, it says in the credits. He's going to get Dennis and opting not to go north, south, east, or west.
He's just being repressed by the dark room.
Alright, here's the cape for Infinite Fluff. Now we'll see how much he cares about the flippers.
Now, see, if it's me, I would pretty much go and get the flippers right away.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably go get the flippers because you just don't know. And I mean, there are a lot of items in Swamp. He doesn't have the hammer yet. I feel like he's gonna finish whatever he's doing. He's gonna finish his line here, and then he might go up and get the flippers if he checks this hype cave, gets nothing, has no further leads. He might go get the flippers. But again, he doesn't. I mean, he knows the pendants and the crystals. He knows that flippers potentially aren't even required, and he knows where the flippers are, so he could always just go get them if he finds out that he needs them.
Right. And as it turns out, by the logic, yes, you do need the flippers.
Okay, so Chauncey gonna go check out Ether Tablet and then do Tower of Hera.
Fluff couldn't get to Tower of Hera when up on Death Mountain.
Hello with the silver arrows from Ether Tablet.
Oh, that could be a costly thing if Fluff chooses not to do Ether.
That is absolutely true. By the time he routes in Tower of Hera, he could be in go mode. He's already been up to Death Mountain. Like he doesn't need to go up there for a while until he decides that, hey, you know what? If he's in go mode and he can go Turtle Rock, Tower of Hera, or other way around, Tower of Hera, Turtle Rock, Ganon's Tower.
Oh! If you have the choice, you do Turtle Rock, then Tower of Hera, then Ganon's Tower.
Right. You leave the warp there. Yeah, Turtle Rock, then Tower of Hera, and you know if they're in go mode, Fluff could easily not go get those silvers. We do know that they're going to have butter. It looks like Fluff is going to get those flippers now. They do have butter, so either way, it's going to be a relatively easy Ganon fight. The second phase of Ganon, where he's teleporting around, Tempered and Butter actually do the same amount of damage there, so the Butter isn't so much of an advantage, but getting to that phase is much easier.
That is very true. chauncyjay takes his little coffee break.
Alright, so Fluff gets his flippers, thinks about saving and quitting. Instead, looks like he's going to go and check out a couple of graveyard locations. Well, he already checked Sank Basement, so he's probably just going to check the ledge.
Right, you cannot choose at this point because no boots.
No boots yet. So right now there has been a lot of back and forth so far in this seed. We had the sequence break by Fluff offering him a lot of information right away and a lot of mobility, while chauncyjay was in the Dark World getting crystals, but, you know, not having all of Death Mountain done, which seemed like Infinite Fluff was going to have a bit of an advantage there. But Chauncey finding all of these medallions, being able to get the mirror before heading up to Death Mountain to actually do Tower of Hera, he looks like he's going to be able to route in the entirety of Death Mountain in one trip. You don't have to make that walk again until you get to Turtle Rock, and that could be huge too. I mean, that's a long walk.
Well, there is the second. There will be at least one more trip up Death Mountain for Turtle Rock and potentially at the same time Turtle Rock Ganon's Tower.
Yes, potentially. For the runner's sake, they're hoping so. They're hoping they only have to take that trip one more. Ooh, chauncyjay getting moshed off of the edge by Moldorm.
And Infinite Fluff picks up his Ruby Rod.
Fluff did already go into Skullwoods, is that correct?
Yes. Got both items from Skullwoods.
Okay. Skullwoods is a very, very popular... Sorry, I had to stumble there because Chauncey was right on the edge with Moldorm. He ends up making it out without getting knocked down a second time. Skullwoods is a very, very popular early check.
Well, it's version 26.
So chauncyjay getting that green pendant from Tower of Hera.
Well, technically version 27.
Yeah, it's version 27. Skullwoods is gold most of the time. And in this version it had Ether, which, as we know, is our Turtle Rock medallion.
Now, I'm surprised we haven't seen a Misery Mire check yet.
Yeah, from chauncyjay. Fluff does not have the flute at this point. He hasn't even been to the desert.
I think he may be trying to set up to get the flute and then run over and back-to-back Mire and desert.
Yeah, that is certainly a very strong routing move. But at this point, it is denying himself that flute.
And Chauncey showing another Japanese 1.0 glitch.
Yep, Chauncey will be here getting his lamp finally. Given that he has the fire rod, it's going to be a little more underwhelming to him.
But it still eliminates the necessity of doing dark rooms.
That is true, and Mire in the dark is no fun. Looks like Fluff is going to go up here and finish off Skullwoods. He does have the Butter Sword, and Fire Rod, and Half Magic. This is probably going to be a quick one. Fluff picking up that key from the pot. He will have to kill a Gibdo to get a key, as it stands right now.
Yes, but with Butter Sword, that's not
a huge issue. Yep, he's not even going to go check that because he knows he has both of the items. So he's not even going to bother checking the maze chest.
Well, there's no reason to.
No reason to at all. Also opting to conserve a little bit of magic by getting both of those torches in one shot with the fire rod. Takes up a little bit more time, but, If you want to shoot Mothula with a fire rod as many times as you can, that's what you do. Getting some really interesting RNG from that mini Moldorm in that room.
Yeah.
Just being a little bit of a jerk. Not getting interesting RNG from the Wallmaster there. Getting an early fall so you don't have the nasty glitch of getting sucked up by the Wallmaster as you are falling down to fight Mothula, making you to do all of the Mothula Cave again. Oh boy. Infinite Fluff just... Oh! I think he used the potion and got hit by that spike in the same frame.
Wow.
That was almost a death. He saved it at the last second. Wow.
And Fluff finishes off Skull Woods.
Gets his crystal.
Meanwhile, chauncyjay heading into Hookshot Cave.
Getting his tempered. And that wraps up all he's willing to do on Death Mountain right now. He does have Fire Rod and Cane, so if he was silly, he could go check Turtle Rock.
And just Couch Cash in the pedestal.
Ooh. Sorry, chat. Just Couch Cash. And here we go. Now with 2 fire sources, Chauncey is probably going to do what you had just talked about earlier, routing Mire and Desert all in one go.
First checking the Mire Shed. For a big love and a big 20.
Okay, and it looks like he's going to go check Checkerboard Cave before doing Desert and Mire.
Which is not necessarily a bad move.
Fluff,
just a Pizza Heart.
Fluff going up and getting the purple chest. Still no hammer, so no peg secret. Still no flute, so he's not going to fly it down, so he's just going to take a walk. Take a nice long walk with the purple chest. See the sights.
Both dungeons are ether.
Wow. I mean, not that it totally mattered, considering how dense the medallions were in the early going of this seed. But it shows off the value of just going and checking Skullwoods, because what the heck? Ether was in Skullwoods, it opens up both Turtle Rock and Misery Mire. chauncyjay going through one of the 2 rooms in the game where it's good to have sword beams.
Oh, it's good to have sword beams in Aga Tower.
That is true.
Infinite Fluff is checking the Bombos tablet, which means I doubt he will neglect the Ether tablet.
Yeah, probably going to go check the Ether tablet again, unless he is in go mode by the time he gets back up there.
Now, I guess my routing of Misery Mire is non-standard, because
You go up through that room?
Yes, I go up through that room and around, because I want to try and clear the right-hand side as quickly as possible. I want to try and clear all of the right-hand side if I can.
Yeah, typically there's a lot of straight lines up there, so boots make that a very attractive route. Oh, Fluff is going and seeing his flute. He's saying, yeah, let's go do this. The advantage Fluff has here is he can go ahead and finish it.
And yes, that is definitely the case. That with the boots, that is a much more attractive routing decision.
Chauncey on a wild anti-fairy chase. There he is. There you go. Oh, well, never mind. He's not going to go finish Desert Palace. The big key is on the torch.
Boots required.
Boots are required. Congratulations, runners. This is not a bootless seed. Now, the location of the boots might not be super great. And Chauncey actually looks like he's agreeing with you here. He likes to clear the right side as quickly as he can. He's going. He found the big key early, so he's going to actually backtrack over to the big key room, or the big chest.
Well, because it's a long to do left side. It's a long run for what, 2 chests?
Yeah, for 2 chests, it's a lot of walking, and you have to take into consideration that wall moving takes roughly 10 years, give or take a month.
Yeah. So if you can clear the right hand side, and get everything you need,
which it looks like Chauncey
why
did,
wouldn't you?
Avoiding going up the left side. I'm sorry. You're right. Chat's at 9.87 years is how long the wall takes to move over in the left side of Mire. Thanks, chat, for doing the math on that one for me.
Chauncey gets through that dark room on in Mire pretty quickly.
Yeah, having the lantern certainly makes this much easier. He also does have the cape, which, since they do not have the bow yet, and Chauncey does have silver arrows but does not have the bow, he will be able to do one of the quick kills on Vitreous here.
Oh yes, cape dashes. Or no, not cape dashes. Cape spins.
No, our spin's faster. I usually go with the dashes.
Well, he can't dash because he doesn't have boots.
Oh, that's right. That is very true. Fluff's activating his flute. My guess is he will be visiting Misery Mire as well. Oh, Jay just going for regular spins. Just as well.
That's pretty quick.
Busting out the fire rod. Oh, now he gets the cape out, just in case he needs it. That's more of a safety at this point. And there you have it.
There you have it. One of the big eyeballs is done. What is it with this game and eyeballs?
I was about to ask you that same question. Even Mothula, who's just a butterfly, looks like Mothula has a bunch of eyeballs on the wings.
Well, that is a...
Oh, Fluff. Fluff accidentally jumping down from the checkerboard cave.
That is a real-world moth wing pattern, so... There are moths that have what look like wings, what look like eyeballs on their wings.
there also exist in nature, encased in Antarctic ice, giant balls of cotton candy with eyeballs lodged into them. You know, just taking, you know, art imitating life here.
So, as I said a little earlier, if you are enjoying this race, why not give these runners a follow?
All right, so we have Fluff right on the heels of chauncyjay in Mire, and we have chauncyjay heading into Skullwoods to finish off Mothula. Also, just doing a quick safety check of the pedestal.
You cannot grasp the true form of... Oh, wait, that's a different game.
Different game. This is not Earthbound Randomizer.
Oh, wouldn't that be interesting?
I just, immediately after I said that, I was working out in my head how that would even work. Whew. So yeah, chat, we are basically more or less even. It's just, you know, which dungeons they do in what order. We do know that Chauncey, again, has the silver arrows, and we don't know if Fluff is going to check the Ether Tablet to get those silver arrows. It really depends on when he routes in Tower of Hera. And obviously if he thinks to go check the tablet. A lot of things can go into this when you're in a race, and, you know, if you're feeling behind, you're going to cut out any kind of non-dungeon check unless you absolutely have to.
Our tracker, who's doing great work, Lyra SRL. By the way, our tracker is Lyra SRL, and our restreamer is Norestra. And a big shout out to them, to those two behind the scenes doing thankless work.
Well, it's not thankless. You just thanked him right now.
Well, true, but doing very behind the scenes work.
They really are. They're doing a great job. Much props to both of them.
We've got secondary races going on the ALTTP Randomizer channel 1 through 4, as well as the main tournament running on the Speed Gaming 1 through 4 channels. So yes, all the way down to the Ocho.
The Ocho. Alright. So at this point, we are almost an hour in. We know boots are required. What's your call? What's your call, DM Stewart? Where are the boots?
Oh. I'm gonna go a little bit nasty.
Oh yeah?
Boots in Mimic Cave.
Oh, that's what I was gonna say! Now I can't say that. I gotta say something different now.
Oh, I can think of a couple other good nasty ones too.
How about boots at Cold Stare?
Ooh. We have had an anxiety ledge check. Anxiety ledge had $50. Chauncey is checking mushroom.
This is another potential boots or hammer location. Just a heart piece, though. Yeah, at this point, it's going to be, a race to find that hammer or those boots. Do we know, actually, if Landmalas has an item still?
I think they do. Well, no, it might be... maybe not. It depends on if there's an item in Big Chest.
Oh, that's true. So one of Big Chest or Landmalas could have an item. So what about Hammer in one of those locations, locked behind boots? There are a lot of really trolly things here that could still happen.
And a big 20 from Catfish. Put it out in chat. Hammer or Aghanim would be required to open up huge tracts of land.
Oh, man. That would be brutal if we're an hour into this seed and we learn that Aga 1 is indeed required. Infinite Fluff's going back up here. I've got to imagine he's going to do Tower of Hera, and he is going to get his silvers at Ether Tablet.
I've got to imagine that chauncyjay is going to check Pyramid next.
Yep. Hold on to your hype, ladies and gentlemen. It's the Ice Rod. Hello, Turtle Rock. Wow. What an item to have on Pyramid.
Yeah, I think the smart money is to make a play on Turtle Rock at this point.
Yeah, follow the logic. Yeah.
Oh no, can't
do Turtle Rock.
Hammer.
Good call on that. Yeah, can't even do Turtle Rock. Since when do you have Ice Rod and you just like, man, I can't do Turtle Rock? What kind of fair randomization is this? Alright, Chauncey checking Sahasrara for his first time here. He does have the green pendant, so optimal routing. But only a 10 arrow boost. But both runners have Butter Sword. Did Fluff go over and check? Did Fluff? Yes, Fluff did go over and check. He got the silvers, right? Yeah. So
yes.
Both runners now with a gold sword and silver arrows. Ganon should be fairly trivial.
Trick is just going to be getting there. Chauncey making a play on Pod. Maybe we get Vanilla Hammer?
It could be vanilla or sort of vanilla hammer. We could get the mythical hammer in the second chest in Swamp Palace.
Oh, that is quite possibly the single trolliest place to put the hammer.
I can't disagree. So we'll see what chauncyjay gets from this chest. It is a small key, so we'll see how he routes the rest of this dungeon. Not having bow, it does look like he is going to go check what's off of in the whatever chest. I think that's the compass chest or the map chest up here.
That's the vanilla big key chest.
That's the big key chest. So this is actually kind of a frightening gamble for me nowadays, because if he doesn't get another small key here, he cuts off the back half of pod until he finds the bow. And it looks like he did not get a small key. So since there are, since there is the, first off, we know that the bow is not in the back half. Well, hopefully the bow is not in the back half of pod. Secondly, if you use your keys in different ways, you can actually get the back half of pod, which has 4 chests in it, rather than just the 2 you're going to get from going off on that ledge that takes you down to the room with the skeletons and things like that. So if there's something juicy deep in pod, and Fluff takes that route and Chauncey does not, that could be gigantic.
Oh, we could still have hammer at huge tracts of land. And have Aghanim required to open that up. That would be just terrible.
It's making me cringe that we're an hour and 7 minutes into this seed and we're still talking about, but Aghanim could still be required. Like, we haven't ruled that out yet. How crazy is that?
Yeah, that just strikes me as being fundamentally wrong.
I mean, especially because, you're not even getting a quality of life item out of Lumberjack Cave. Like, sometimes you'll see runners say, you know what, even if Aghanim isn't required, at least I'm getting something like silvers or a sword upgrade. And, Aghanim isn't that terrible of a gamble at that point. But 50 rupees is nothing to scream about.
No, it really isn't.
So, I have a question for you about the mechanics of the way this works.
Okay.
Since the mushroom requires a screen transition, I know that fluting out of there and then flying back does not count as a screen transition. Does it count as a screen transition to go to the dark world and then re-enter the light world?
Yes, it does. In fact, I've seen that particular strategy used, specifically setting up a portal to Mirror Bonk.
So, this is brought up by chat, and we had a conversation about this earlier, where we said we didn't agree with Fluff's decision to mirror out of Eastern at that point, but it looks like it was the right move.
Yep.
That could have been another way that this seed turned real juicy, is if that big chest had something like the hammer or the boots.
Well, no, he checked big chest and mirrored out. He still had vanilla big key chest he could have checked.
Oh, okay, so right, okay.
So I didn't agree with the play because he had one more chest he could have checked. Because I wasn't counting properly, but I didn't count to 3 items.
And here we go. Looks like we're getting Ice Palace.
Well, it's not an unreasonable check at this point.
It really isn't.
Nope, he is using the whirlpool to head up. Chauncey has not checked
right.
Zora.
Chauncey has not made this mistake yet. And here we go. Fluff looks like he's going to dip into Pod, and we'll see if that checking the back half of Pod comes into play here, or if we'll just never know if it would have mattered.
Well, Fluff can't go into Pod yet.
Oh!
Money.
This is problematic.
Fluff needs money to pay Kiki the extortionist.
Fluff, you need money. Oh, he picked up a 5. I wonder if he's looking up at his money count after he picks up that 5 and saying, crap. But nope, because he's following through on this.
Yes, one of the runners did check Graveyard Ledge.
Yeah, I think at this point both have.
Graveyard Ledge had nothing useful.
Yeah, Fluff is realizing, hey, I got this green pendant. Let's check out what Sand Slash has for me.
And Rufus Xavier Sarsaparilla just has a +10 arrow.
All right. Journey of the Purple Chest commences. Yeah, there we go. Well, maybe not. I thought Chauncey had already checked all of these locations, but if he didn't, then this is the right move. The chest will fly with you if you summon the swag duck. But yeah, it looks like he hasn't checked these locations yet. That's a good call out by Norastra, our restreamer, our race streamer, if you will. The hammer really isn't this much of a troll because there's so much that is hidden behind the hammer. Fluff's coming back, so he didn't check Big Chest. Fluff's coming back to finish his Eastern Palace. A little bit of unfinished business here.
Yes, hammer locks a lot, but it locks Ice Palace and Swamp Palace and part of Pod.
Yeah, it only locks the finishing of Ice Palace. Yeah, I mean, Hammer... This is kind of perplexing, actually. Like, where... I mean, I'm thinking maybe you've got Hammer in Ice Palace. And like I said, I'm not wishing this on the runners at all, but you do have the possibility that the hammer is in that second chest and swamp.
And both runners just wrapping up things that the other has already done.
Oh, we have Chauncey checking that chest.
Yep, Chauncey is going to go in and check that Swamp Palace chest.
Oh boy.
At this point, it's not necessarily a bad play.
Yeah, if you're in the area, you might as well check the troll locations. Infinite Fluff getting his 20 rupees, saying, screw this. Going into the back area of Eastern. Oh, getting some rupees, that's what he's doing. Yep, he's going to step right back out into that portal, go pick up Kiki. and try this whole thing over again. Alright, here we go. What's in the chest? Just 20 rupees.
The severed head of Gwyneth Paltrow? Sorry, that was a massive spoiler for a movie.
Massive. Well, I mean, but as long as you don't say which movie, it's just any old movie that has Gwyneth Paltrow in it. The Royal Tenenbaums.
Well, it was a spoiler for a particular movie.
Oh, yes. It just sounds really crazy out of context. Chauncey's still not going to Ice Palace. Where is he checking? Oh, he hasn't checked the Batcave yet.
Yep.
So here we go. Infinite Fluff getting his key and doing the exact same route that Chauncey took. So it looks like neither of them are going to be hitting up the back half of Pod anytime soon.
And na 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 na. 20 rupees. Now these runners will be doing round 2 of this best of 3 series tomorrow.
So Fluff doing some mental magic here, realizing that he can go no further into Pod and getting out of dodge. Or
now Chauncey's making the play on Ice Palace.
Getting out of Pod. Alright, so Fluff is going to his flute. If Fluff also goes to Ice Palace... Oh my goodness. I think we have some hype. Hype coming up right now. Here it comes. Both runners are entering Ice Palace without the hammer.
Well, it's a logical play.
It is a logical play, and Fluff took it a lot faster than Chauncey. I don't know if Fluff is really going to be agonizing over what if that second chest in Swamp Palace. Getting those quick hookshot kills in on the Pangators? I think they're called Pangators. Mix between penguins and alligators.
Such a thing should never exist.
No contest over here.
And Chad asks an interesting question. If Hammer isn't here in Ice Palace, what's left?
Good question. It's a very good question. Looks like Chauncey going for the bomb jump. He has Cane of Samaria. This is not a necessary bomb jump. It also looks like Fluff is also doing the bomb jump. And I think at this situation where you're checking all of these chests regardless of I mean there's no real reason to do this bomb jump. Am I wrong? Like, even if you wanted to go mode Ice Palace, there's no way to get to Cold Stare without the hammer.
And Fluff chooses not to bomb jump, as did Chauncey.
Both of them backpedaled on that bomb jump. Oh, there's the big key in a very convenient location.
Right above the big chest.
Just a heart. We are entering anxiety mode in Ice Palace. Both runners have got to be thinking, what do I have to do?
Our chat asking if this is as even as it looks. I would say yes, it is.
I would definitely agree.
I think that room that chauncyjay is in right now is the worst room in the whole palace.
Yeah, it's not fun. Definitely not fun. Sometimes you have to do not fun things to get the work done. All right, so a little bit better execution on Infinite Fluff's part has him passing him up. Chauncey going the mirror route, where he is going to check the right side from the top way.
I've never seen that routing before.
Yeah, sometimes it's actually required if you don't have Cane of Samaria and you can't finish the dungeon to get the final key from Cold Stare. If you actually use keys in a correct way and you go in, you get a key and then you go in from the top in the big cross or plus sign shaped room with the big spike trap. You can actually go right there, get all of those chests from that part of the dungeon, and then cruise through the rest of the dungeon. It's usually something you see, when you're missing some items. Or missing the hook shot. I'm sorry. When I said you're missing the cane, I meant missing the hook shot. Because you can't get to those items unless you go that route or you have the hook shot.
I can recall the trollest seed I ever had play with mandatory double dip Ice Palace because of the key situation and no hook shot leading into it. Mandatory double dip Turtle Rock. Mandatory triple dip Swamp.
Oof. Oof, oof. So Fluff getting the heck out of Ice Palace. No joy from Ice Palace.
Are we going to be in an Aghanim required to get the hammer? Get the hammer from Pyramid Free.
Fluff is doing that right now. This is very rare, right? Like this. Well, Fluff's going up to the throne room. Has he checked? You know what? chauncyjay did this room dark earlier. Fluff hasn't checked it yet.
That's right. He hasn't.
Yeah, and it was only 20 rupees, I think.
Yes, it was only 20. It was only a big 20.
Okay, well, chauncyjay going to Link's house, that can mean that he is indeed going Aga. Which, like, that is some mental gymnastics you have to go through to think, okay, I can go and get the bomb, but I don't have the hammer, so I can't deliver it unless I go beat Aga. You're basically beating Aga specifically so you can portal to the bomb location. That is unbelievably trolly.
That is some serious, serious mental gymnastics to do that.
And yeah, Chauncey's doing it. Fluff still thinks he has some places to check. luckily for our runners, when you're this tricked out, Aghanim's Tower is basically free.
I mean, it's still long and involved.
It is. But man, when you just don't have to worry about taking unnecessary deaths and everything dies in one hit, except for Aghanim, of course. Where is Fluff? Fluff looks like he's gonna be going to check Bombo's tablet if he hasn't yet. No, well, he's checking the one chest.
Yeah, he's checking the second chest of Swamp. Which, as we know, he's not going to find it.
Yep, he is just doing all he can to not go fight Aga. You know, if I'm him, I'm thinking, my opponent. There's no way my opponent checks this location. If this location has a progression item, or has a hammer for that matter, I'm set. Unfortunately, it's not going to pay off for him. And also, Chauncey did already check that location.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are going to definitely get an Aga 1 fight at somewhere around a 128. That is just brutal.
That is sickening.
That is so brutal. I'm tearing up a little over here, DM Stewart. I am actually tearing up over here. And I don't know if it's because I'm beholding this beauty or if it's just severe empathy. This is raunchy. This is nuts. Like, this is wow.
And Infinite Fluff figures out it's got to be Aga.
Yep. So
it's got to be Pyramid Fairy, which means Aghanim.
This has got to go down in the annals as, like, has this happened in this tournament? Any tournament?
I don't know.
This
and
is...
to answer the great in the name of DT in that chat, yes, this is for Fat Fairy. At 128 into the seed, they are doing Aghanim Tower to get to Fat Fairy.
This is historic. Like, I don't want to... man. I don't want to understate how rare and just weird this is. I will answer Clifford in chat. What happened to get us to this point is basically every location has been checked, and the only way that the runners can get to the Pyramid Fairy is by defeating Aghanim and using the Hyrule Castle portal.
Yes. So, hammer, bow, and boots are the progression items needed. Those are the only items that are still needed for Go mode. I'm not sure where Chauncey's going.
This is his only Dark World access.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Because
he has to go here.
Because they can't use the portal at Link's house because they don't have the hammer.
This is insult to injury. You gotta take the walk. You have to walk this path. I think this is the 4th time Chauncey's had to walk this path.
He's walking this lonely road. I would definitely call this the boulevard.
The Boulevard of Broken Seeds. And it just seems to take that much longer when you know what you're doing, and you know what you have to do, and you don't have boots, and you just want boots.
Yes, they did make it into pod, and there was nothing in pod that was not bow locked.
Yeah, still incredibly curious. If Pyramid Fairy has bow, and the back part of pod has the hammer, like what this seed could have been if they used that different routing in the keys in pod.
Oh man.
That came up in a weekly very, very recently, where there was a bunch of items in the back half of pod and nothing in the front half, and you use your keys wrong, and
Boots.
There's the boots and the hammer.
Holy crap, Aghanim.
And Chauncey throwing a bomb into
Aghanim's
the
tower at 120 something was required.
Was absolutely required, even if they had gone to the back half of pod. Totally required. So what does he do first?
That is crazy. He's going to desert first.
He's going to desert first. Infinite Fluff hot on his heels. Yikes.
Huge
Yikes.
tracts of land.
Yikes. This has been epic. Like, it has been absolutely epic.
Oh, that is just nasty.
It's nasty. It is absolutely cruel. It is ugly. It's entertaining as all get out. Just watching them check every single location saying, there's no way that I have to fight Aghanim just to get to the Fat Fairy. And lo and behold,
you have to fight Aghanim just to get to Fat Fairy. Ruby Rod, to answer that question, Ruby Rod was on Hobo.
yes. It was actually Jay's first fire source. Infinite Fluff made an early sequence break gamble up Death Mountain, found the lamp in the right side in, I guess, it's Lucky Cave.
Paradox Cave, I think they call it.
Yeah, Paradox Cave. I call it Shel Silverstein Cave, Lucky Cave. Lots of names. Right side of Death Mountain, the one with 7 chests in it.
Okay, when's Shel Silverstein Cave?
He has a popular poem called Falling Up.
Ah.
And Fluff, let's see his reaction. Oh, just a little bit of a spin there. Oh man, what an evening these runners are having.
Oh boy. I would be interested in hearing what they have to say about this seed.
I wish we had a live mic in on these runners right now, just to get their immediate reactions outside of the filter of our post-race commentary.
Well, I know if it were me, my running commentary on that would probably be not suitable for a family channel.
Oh yeah, we'd need a 5-second delay for sure. Chauncey going and checking Bonk Rocks.
Bonk Rocks and probably King's Tomb right afterwards.
One would imagine, since he's here. After all, still looking for Bo.
And then probably flute up to Death Mountain and do Turtle Rock.
Right? I mean, he already knows.
Bo is not on pedestal. Yeah. Pedestal is couch cash.
If he's keeping track, then he knows that Bo isn't in Pod. So
we've got the Bo.
But it could be in King's Tomb, so it'll be fun to see when they check King's Tomb. Oh, it's there! Wow. We got Bo in King's Tomb, which means we do have Go mode at 135XX.
Oh, that's insane. You have to do Aghanim at an hour 20 to be in Go mode 15 minutes later.
Man. You know what? If you out of context say, you know, I had to go fight Aghanim 1 and 15 minutes later I was in Go mode, that sounds pretty good.
Yes, but then you have to say that it was an hour 20 that I went for Aghanim 1.
It's just a small lie of omission. Just a tiny lie of omission here. All right, so Chauncey finding the Bo, going to finish up Pod.
Will likely mirror immediately afterwards into Eastern, because that's a good hike.
Yep, he already has the big key here, so he should actually, he should mirror back to the front as soon as he gets a key. Actually, no, he'll have the hammer, so he can just jump on down there. Really, this Go mode doesn't have much variance to it. They already have silvers, they already have gold. The only real thing that, you know, they might want to go for is red tunic, but that's pretty unlikely.
Half damage?
Yeah.
Red tunic isn't that much better than getting green, or than getting blue, rather.
Right. On Ganon, it really doesn't matter all that much. So unfortunately, Jay is about a dungeon ahead of Fluff. Fluff looks like for a second he was considering just running up and doing Turtle Rock. But he's going to check the same stuff that Chauncey just checked to find the Bo.
Which, I mean, that's clearly the right play if you're going to do a save and quit. Otherwise, how are you going to route those in?
Exactly. If I recall, the Game Boy Advance adds Sanctuary as a flute location? Or am I wrong there? No, it's Turtle Rock that adds as a flute location.
Really?
I believe so. It adds a flute location. I think it's Turtle Rock. Oh, Infinite Fluff getting the quick push on the King's Tomb. Getting him to that Bo about a second and a half quicker. And even if Fluff would have gone up to T-Rock, I mean, it would have been a little bit of a bummer. Go mode in Turtle Rock doesn't really save you that much time. He would have found out that it wasn't there. He would probably remember that it wasn't in Pod. And then he would go check the only 2 locations that he hadn't checked yet.
Yeah, Go mode Turtle Rock looks remarkably similar to full clear Turtle Rock.
Yeah, really the only difference you can find is that maybe you just have to go get the key from Pokey and then backtrack. Don't check that other chest right in the center of the pipe room. All right, so Jay going into Eastern. It'll be Eastern, then Turtle Rock for Jay. Fluff? Yeah, there you go. There you go, Fluff. He was about to go try and do the back half of Pod, realized he didn't have a key, and the reason he didn't have a key because he didn't have a bow.
Meanwhile, Chauncey just running through to finish up Eastern.
Yeah, it just really looks like Jay is a dungeon ahead. Now, we know that Ganon's Tower can be a cruel mistress sometimes.
Oh yes, depending on where that big key is.
The big key could be in an ugly location. We'll see if our runners are fans of the right side gamble, the classic just do the left side, Dark Magician strat, which is you go immediately left, check those 4 chests, and then go right side. There are a lot of options available, and depending on where that big chest is, you know, if you go right side gamble, do you check tile room right away? If big key is in tile room and your opponent doesn't check it, but you do, you gain a heck of a lot of time on your opponent by doing that. So really, it's you know, there's a lot of gambles. You can take a lot of different routes you can take through the dungeon, and you know, it's one of the it's a very difficult dungeon. Execution matters in Ganon's Tower, so there's still a lot that could happen, even though Jay is heading up to Turtle Rock as we speak.
So my usual routing in Ganon's Tower is I will check the 2 chests on the right, then I will go left, and when I go right, I always do tile room first.
You're always a tile room gambler, huh?
I don't want to have to go down there 3 times.
Yeah, really, there's no argument from me. I don't do it because in the amount of time it takes for that tile room to clear, you can check basically the rest of right side, but it is a heck of a gamble if you're in a race and, like, say you think you're a minute or so behind. If you take that gamble and you hit on it, that is an insanely good feeling.
Now, we know Chauncey is a little bit ahead. Where do you think Chauncey thinks he is?
It's so tough to tell. In a seed like this, in something where there was basically no indicator that you should go fight Aghanim until super late in the game, I gotta think at this point, if you haven't seen a dot done yet from your opponent, you gotta think they did the same thing you did.
That's valid.
So yeah, at this point, I think you think your opponent did the same thing you did, and it's a tight race. So you just, you know, business as usual. You go in, you execute well, you're in go mode, don't do anything that requires any additional time, and you just go for it. You just play your best race from this point out.
And I will certainly bow to the superior racing experience of my commentary partner here, because I'm not a racer.
Oh, well. Let's remember, I'm on commentary and not in the tournament, so adjust your expectations accordingly.
Hey, I didn't even enter the tournament. You at least entered.
Hey, great timing on those hook shots by Chauncey to evade the spike rollers.
You at least entered, and in fact, I believe I commentated on one of your races.
I believe that is true. I don't remember if I won that race or not.
I don't either.
Probability says that I lost. But hey, you know, speaking of commentators.
Hey, early big key.
Yeah, early big key is nice. So, well, he's still missing a small key, so he still might want to go. Well, no, he's just gonna collect the key from Pokey. This is one of those routing things in Go Mode Turtle Rock that can change just a little bit, save you about 10 or so seconds. But again, DM Stewart has said this a couple times. If you're enjoying the show, if you like what you see here, if you want to watch these runners do seeds that are a little more friendly than the one that they've run through right now, go ahead and give them a follow. Also, we have, commands, and looks like our restreamer Norestra has run them for us already. There you can find the Twitch links of everybody involved in the production of this stream, including the racers, my fellow commentator DM Stewart 1981, the restreamer Norestra, and Lyra, the tracker for us, who's been doing a heck of a job.
Yeah, all of these folks working on this are doing a phenomenal job. I kind of also want to give a shout out to our to the mods over on the Discord, because they've been setting up all of the streams. They've been setting up all the seeds, scheduling all these racers for scheduling all these races for commentary and restreaming. And
yeah, this is by no means a machine that runs itself. And oh, I thought he was going for Mirror. I thought we were going to get a check of Mimic Cave.
Well, there's no reason to check Mimic Cave.
Right, but he went to his pause menu and I wasn't sure why.
Valid point.
If I remember correctly, oh no, I think he had bombs equipped, so he had to go to his item menu anyway, but he didn't go for hookshot.
Which surprises me a little, because bombs to hookshot is just hit left.
Oh, nice bonk jump. Oh, just barely got hit by the spike roller.
At least it was the spike roller and not the chain chomps.
Right, yeah, we did see Chauncey had a bit of a trouble with the chain chomp room in there, but got out of there alive.
Yeah, and both runners are making their way through The Legend of Zelda Super Mario Brothers.
Right? Chain chomp, Pokey. Come on now. Oh, we're getting a laser bridge check.
Well, it's required because
right.
E.
Oh, there's the key, and he's out of there. Oh, the Helmasaur getting in the way of the switch. Just one last troll that this seed is going to give our runners here. Oh, Infinite Fluff getting the hookshot damage evasion here too.
Yeah, that's really useful.
Yeah, that's not free at all. I just want to point that out. That is not a free strat in the least. Oh, Butter Sword Trinex doesn't really pose too much of a threat.
Buttersword Trinex, the Michael Bay boss.
Oh boy. Chauncey's got to be careful here. There you go. When you go for that quick kill and miss, you can take a lot of damage in a very small...
After all, the boss is about 5% boss fight and 95% explosions.
We just need some helicopters riding in over a sunset, and we're set.
Or space shuttles.
Yeah.
I mean, didn't Michael Bay do that Bruce Willis space shuttle asteroid movie?
Yeah. Armageddon?
Hey, we've got... Chauncey's got all of his keys. So as our restreamer points out, it's time to start that key stuff. The big key guessing game.
Right. So give us a number between 1 and 23.
22.
22. And we will see... I was thinking key sanity, sorry. And we will see where in Ganon's Tower, in terms of what numbered chest or numbered item has the big key. So there's 1 already on the torch being a piece of heart.
And Chauncey's going straight left. Or you can guess a location rather than a number. I prefer to guess a location. And I'm going to go back to my old classic of tile room.
Yeah, I'm actually going to go the long shot here, and I'm going to say the fire bar room.
As trolly as this seed has been...
Oh, we have a Dark Magician strat from Chauncey. Coined so by Dark Magician, the Link to the Past randomizer. I guess, I don't know if he's a developer or he's involved in some capacity. He likes to go check those 4 left chests, and if he hasn't found the big key yet, go right then. Oh, Chauncey's skipping tile room.
And as I said, I just have a big objection to making 3 trips down here.
All right, here we go. ₹300, that'll be useful later. And 5 bomb expansion. So what Chauncey's probably going to do here, he's going to snag this key. Oh, he's going to keep going.
He's going to go and check Ice Armos.
Right. So if my guess is correct, and it is Firebar, that's going to be the second to last place Chauncey checks. Oh, man.
No, because there's fire snakes. There's also fire snakes room.
Oh, there is fire snakes room. Infinite Fluff taking care of Trinex. He's going to be heading over to Ganon's Tower. And, I mean, here we are. If he takes a slightly different route through Ganon's Tower, he could make up a lot of time.
Yes, he could. Oh, and Rando room as well. You know, I love that there's a room that no one really knew that no one really ever went into until Randomizer.
I mean, I went into it all the time, but that's because I'm bad. And Armos Knights. We're not hiding the big key.
No joy from Ice Armos.
In chat, Phillian asked if what's in the bottles. I know there was at least one B in both. Chauncey did trade in his B for a green potion, so he has a green potion. and they picked up a blue potion out of Digging Game. So I believe it's BB blue potion and B green potion blue potion. Aw, Firebar Room.
No joy in Firebar Room.
Fluff looks like he's not going to be making up any time anytime soon because he is taking the right side route, which we know is not going to pay off.
Tile Room is still in play, though.
Tile Room is still in play, but at this rate, looks like Chauncey's going to get there before him, if that's the case.
And the seed is validated.
Seed is 100%
we call that
valid.
Single arrow. We call that single arrow the validation arrow because there's only one of it.
Well, he's picking up his 300 rupees that he'll be able to use to bribe Ganon into faking his death. Oh, there we go. There's the big key in the rando room.
You know, one of these days I want to see a seed where the validation arrow is in the validation chest.
That would be too beautiful for this world, DM. Jay taking the damage tank strats through that mimic room. I mean,
So
there are
18 was our winner.
18 was our winner. The bottom left chest of the last room that had 4 chests in it. And then, obviously, that's why I think 23. Because there's a big chest. Okay. So Chauncey's making his way up. He's going to be heading through the gauntlets very shortly.
Makes it gainable run. I'm a little surprised you didn't bonk over and get fairies to refill.
Well, I mean, again, we're an end of race psychology here. We got to be thinking every second counts. And yes, taking a death does take a long time, especially in Ganon's Tower when you're in the upstairs. But, you know, bonking over to get those fairies, I mean, that also takes a lot of time. Now, if I were Chauncey, yep, here he goes. He's using his blue potion. In fact, actually, I think Fluff had to go back and buy another blue potion because he used his against Mothula. So he did go buy another blue potion as he's going in and getting his big key. Yeah, I think well, Chauncey did just use his blue potion, and actually by the tracker, it looks like Infinite only has 2 bottles. I mean, the 2 that Chauncey picked up just had bees in them, so it doesn't really matter all that much. Infinite Fluff also doing the damage tank strats in this room. Or is he? Oh, he's going for the anti-fairy. So he'll get a little boost of health going up as he readies himself for the mimic rooms and the gauntlet. Now there is a strat to this specific mimic room that Fluff is in right now. Oh, and he gets a fairy out of the mimic. You can actually run through, and if you time it well, you can actually hop down, shoot a silver arrow, hop down to the next room, shoot a silver arrow, and then get back up without getting even hit by the spikes. It takes a little bit of accuracy and a little bit of skill, but I've seen it done, and it's very elegant looking. It's much more elegant looking than pulling on a statue and not really moving.
True, but it doesn't matter that much. Time-wise, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, probably maybe saves a half a second to 1.5 seconds, but
We've had races that close in this tournament.
We have had races that close in a race where basically every single second could count. Because this has been trolly. We're at 2 hours here, and Chauncey's about to go fight Moldorm for the second and final time. He picks up that very clutch full magic refill from the anti-fairy room. Doesn't get pushed off this time. He did have a push off against Moldorm in Tower of Hera. He gets his revenge here.
And the final chest has the red boomerang.
Now, this room is the true final boss that Chauncey is running through right now.
Oh, yes.
True final boss.
Chauncey using cape strats on that.
Yeah, looks like he might be using that green potion depending on how his Ganon fight goes. Oh, that was a double. It was a very solid double. Unfortunately, Aghanim's kind of trolling with these blue balls. He could have had a triple on that last one. Chauncey getting a miss there and bonking in frustration, but he does make up for it with a double there. And here go the frustration bonks. Hope nobody had bets on the bonk count because he's running them up right now. I mean, even so, you got to think, Chauncey's feeling good going into Ganon with his opponent not having done yet.
Yeah, I think you got to think that.
So here we go. He has a green potion and a bee.
And Landslug Ganon.
Ooh, he's taking some hits here, and he capes. Capes for safety. He knows he has a green potion. Not a whole lot of risk.
Let me tell you, Ganon hugs are the best hugs.
They're nice and snug, and just there's not a whole lot to hate about him. Fluff getting knocked off by Moldorm 2, coming back up and saying, hey, man, that wasn't cool. Stabbing in the face, skipping validation chest. He will not be getting that red meringue.
And chauncyjay finishes off the pig.
Finishes him off. The lights go off very dramatically. And we're going to get his official SRL time in just a moment. Yeah, it looks like we have an official SRL time. First place, 2 hours, 4 minutes, 2 seconds. And he has ended
the domination of Dr. Wily.
Of Dr. Wily. Fluff finishing up Aga 2, and Ganon's turning into a bat. Fluff choosing to take out his frustration via the hook shot.
And hopefully we can get chauncyjay in here and for a little post-race interview. Welcome. Good game to you, sir.
Good game. Thank you.
That seed, man. That seed.
that was quite a seed. Oh my goodness. Like as soon as I started going into the pendant dungeons without the hammer, I was like, I'm like 90% that I'm gonna have to do Aghanim, but I really want to make sure that I have to before I do.
Yeah, no one wants to do Aghanim when they don't have to.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot to love about that seed, really, if you ask me.
Yeah, I mean, if this was somebody who was a bit less experienced with this, then this would be a great seed to learn from.
Right?
With
I mean,
all
to
the
that point,
shenanigans.
just realizing, hey, the only way that I can go to Pyramid Fairy is by getting that Hyrule Castle portal. That's just not something. I mean, it's entirely possible that a less experienced player would just miss that.
Yeah, I'm lucky enough to have done a lot of seeds and watched enough to know that was definitely a possibility. I just didn't want to gamble on it too early, so that's why I ended up doing all of the stuff in Ice and the first chest in Swamp before I went into and all of the other like single locations that I left behind.
Yes, well, I will say that you didn't have similar routes necessarily, but you did have similar outcomes where both runners here, as Infinite Fluff finishes up Ganon, we'll be getting his time in just a moment. You both were basically in the same situation where you both exhausted every single location you could before going and fighting Aga. As Fluff finishes up, we have an official SRL time of 2 hours, 6 minutes, and 40 seconds.
So just a couple of minutes separating the two of you. That's a very nice race.
Yeah, it's a very close race, and it points out to you both had basically the same idea, just wanting to exhaust every option before going and fighting Aghanim.
Yeah, I guess I felt really good about my execution that run, so I guess we were just kind of on par, and maybe I got a little ahead because of that. I was actually afraid that he might have gambled on it a bit earlier, which is why I checked the boots locations before going into the final, or the dungeon that I could do without the bow, and I'm glad that I did.
Yeah, there will be a lot to review. If you go back and watch this VOD, it is kind of uncanny how similar it ended up being for such immediate route divergence.
Yeah, my the beginning of this seed was a very different route for me. I'm used to that style. I usually just kind of go where the items take me, rather than doing like a more traditional route most of the time when it's available to me. But I think it ended up working. I mean, like you said, it ended up working out in the same way because the pinch point of doing Aghanim for Hammer and Pyramid.
Yeah,
Yes,
by the time
it was a unusual thing for us to be commenting that over an hour into the seed, Aghanim 1 is still on the table.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, by the time Aghanim was basically the play, it was beat Aghanim, go check Bonk Rocks and King's Tomb, go finish all the dungeons. Like it was identical between you two at that point. It was just so close, basically the whole race, because despite the route divergence, there was just that one pinch point of just checking every possible location before saying, you know what, screw it, let's go fight Aghanim.
Yeah, and I was honestly thinking about gambling a little bit earlier, but then there was 3 or 4 chests in Ice that I could check. The first chest in Swamp I wasn't really sure about. You could tell that I was hesitating a lot when I was going into Swamp, and then also hesitating when I was about to go into Ice and then ended up going somewhere else. Just because, like, kind of weighing that gamble against the time that it takes to do Aghanim is pretty rough, actually.
Welcome to you, Fluff.
Yes, GG.
GG Fluff.
Thank you, GG.
Well,
that's
what
seed.
A seed.
Man, that seed.
Yeah.
I use that route as a matter of convenience. I've never thought to do it as necessity before.
Well, for certain, I do the same thing. It's just a good thing to know and have in your back pocket if you had to do Aghanim, but you had to do Aghanim because that was the route that you had to take, and that's really, we were talking about how very cruel and rare it is to actually have to take that portal in order to get to the Pyramid Fairy.
Yeah, I had it marked on my tracker, and I looked in my inventory a couple times. It's like, okay, I probably need to do Pyramid Fairy, so as soon as I find the hammer.
I said the same thing, man. I know exactly what you're talking about.
So I did, I cleared Hera, I checked Sahasrara, I key locked and hammer locked myself in every dungeon possible, and then was like, wait, if I beat Aghanim, then I can do this. Because the whole time I was like, there's that trick where you can swim and it's frame perfect, but there's no way they would include that in the logic, so how am I supposed to be getting
No, it is. Nope.
It is definitely not included in the logic.
Yeah, Fate Flippers is not a part of the logic.
Yeah, so if I had thought of that, 20, 30 minutes earlier, this would have been a pretty fast seed. I mean, a lot of it was handed to us really early.
It was remarkable how free this seed looked on the surface. With Uncle giving you a sword right away. Just not a lot to hate about the seed until you had to realize that weird kind of back door into the Pyramid Fairy was actually required.
Yeah, as soon as I got that, and I guessed the location of the bow because I knew that I had taken way too long to find everything else. And once I hit go mode, it was just a sprint to the end.
Right,
but
and
I had a lot to do, so.
Yeah, and after you had defeated Aghanim, this goes for both racers, it was basically like watching one runner do something, and then you were 2 minutes apart, then 2 minutes later watching the other runner do basically the exact same thing. You had very, very similar routes through Ganon's Tower. Just everything was basically the exact same, and the only real unfortunate thing is at that point, Chauncey was just 2 minutes ahead of you.
Yeah. Well, that's it's a learning experience. I'll be sure to think about that earlier next time.
And another thing to think about is this was round 1 of a best of 3, so this is not over for anybody right now. There's plenty of room for comebacks, and there's plenty of room to make this a 3-race match. So I have to say good luck to both of you on your next couple rounds. If I'm not commentating, I may just watch because I'm kind of invested at this point.
Yep, our next one's tomorrow night, about the same time.
Yep, tomorrow night at 9:30.
Good luck to both of you in that race.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good luck to both of you in that race tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yep. And if I happen to win that one, then about 15 minutes later will be game 3.
Oh wow!
That will be
so
the
you're going
plan.
back to back.
Yeah, if it's necessary.
Well, again, good luck to both of you. Thanks for what ended up being a very entertaining to watch race. Can't imagine what it was like to actually race it, but it was entertaining to watch. Thank you very much. Thank you to our restreamer, Norestra. Thank you to our tracker, Lyra. You can see that Norestra just ran through all of the commands in the chat, so you can see links to everybody involved's Twitch channels. I've been Wef Jebster, and I've been joined by my co-host.
I've been DM Stewart 1981.
Thanks for watching, everybody, and make sure you tune in to a bunch of other super exciting randomizer action on all of the other randomizer channels, and have a great evening.